Welcome to the Color Authority. This is Judith, and I am going to be talking to the very first Dutch on my podcast. You're probably all wondering when I was going to interview somebody from my very own mother nation. Actually, the next guest, she was born Dutch, but she now is living in Auckland, New Zealand. Her name is Thelma van der Werff, and she created her color comfort method from her desire to make the psychology of color part of everyday life. She analyzes the colors people commonly wear and use to reveal their hidden talents and potential while identifying and reprogramming unwanted behavior, thought patterns, and feelings. She also co-created Colournostics, a coaching tool that uses a combination of psychology of color and LLP. She has developed an online course about the psychology of color and regularly speaks at events where people are constantly amazed with the accuracy of the information that their color choices reveal. At this moment, she is also president of the International Light Association, a platform for experts, practitioners, and manufacturers who use light, color, or sound for health and wellness. Now, this is a very particular episode with the interview that I'm about to have with Thelma, because I had a personal session with her. And let's say I'm just going to reveal some of the findings that we've had about my unused potential and the colors that I needed to insert in my life for my next direction. Good morning, Thelma. How are you this morning? And welcome to the Color Authority podcast.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're calling in from your home in Auckland, New Zealand, right? So it's 9 a.m. in the morning for you, and for me, it's 9 p.m. in the evening, and I think we're on different days. So interesting.
Yes, I'm already ahead.
You're ahead of time. Okay, yeah, that's true. So as I said, I'm super pleased to have you here on my podcast. To prepare this particular episode, we already did a session, a Colournostics session, which was super interesting. We're going to go more in detail into that just in a few seconds. But in the beginning of every episode that I do, I ask all of my guests the same question. Obviously, I'm going to ask you as well. And that is, what is color to you?
Well, color to me is a language. It's a hidden language or a secret language. And as soon as you understand and speak that language, you can get a lot of insight, not only in yourself, but also in other people. So yes, I really see color as a language.
As a language, yeah. You have a very different background than most of the people that I normally interview who are more in the creative area. I just interviewed somebody who was in the scientific area. You, let's say you are more into the color therapy area, color psychology, and we're going to go into detail what that actually is. But how did you get there? Because I think you probably had a very interesting career path to get where you are. And I know a lot of color enthusiasts are listening, and I think they're very curious to know how this all started.
Well, you might be amazed because my path has never been in color. I was always interested in health, and I had some major health issues myself. So I delved into that. I did a study on the science of nutrition and body-mind healing. And about, more than 20 years ago, in a meditation, I've asked, okay, I would love to help people. How can I do that? That was the start of color, because the reply I got is, if you want to help people, you have to do this with energy. And it's all with color or with sound or with live food. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, that's good. I thought within 3 or 4 days, I visited someone who was an Orosoma practitioner, and I saw all these colorful bottles, and I inquired about that, and that was the start of my journey with color. And I did all levels of Orosoma, but I wanted to know more, so I delved into a lot of different theories on color. but it always came back to the psychology of how to help people and how to, how you can use color actually to get a different emotion or a different sense of well-being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is a beautiful experience that I've indeed had with you, and I'm still experiencing right now. You just mentioned that color is language, and that is a language that does not lie. It always tells the truth. How is that? How does color always tell the truth?
Because it's like it's a frequency, and all our choices, all our color choices, often they come from our subconscious, and they are actually revealing a layer within ourselves that is not always obvious. I do believe that the language of color can't lie because it will give information. If I meet someone and my intuition says, oh, this is a very creative person or a very artistic person, but if their color choice is saying something else, I will always listen to their color choice because that is the truth. And that in that sense, color cannot lie because your color choices will give that information that comes from your own subconscious.
Mm-hmm. So indeed, that isn't exactly what you do, right? So you teach people to reach their subconscious through color by what you say, Colournostics. Can you explain indeed what that exactly is? So what is Colournostics, and what do you do exactly with people when you do these type of sessions?
I have two different methods. One is Colournostics and one is color comfort, but both work with psychology of color because I believe that every color has a message and an emotion. Yeah. And if you can translate the color choices of someone, let's say with Colournostics, this is a program where we say, okay, what is your issue and what is blocking you, and how can we transform that into a different perception? If you allow someone to think about their issue and give it a color, then by giving that issue a color, I will get information what is really the issue, and that will be revealed in words that's often someone who has that issue cannot express 100%. Like, for instance, you could say, yeah, I'm a little bit depressed, or I feel depressed. Okay, but if you give that feeling a color, by giving that feeling a color, I know exactly what is actually making you feeling so depressed. And that information is necessary to actually get a different perspective. And that is also with Colournostics, we ask 5 questions. There are 5 very specific questions. One is give your issue a color. How does it feel? Then what is actually blocking you from solving your issue? And that will give more information about what is the negative inner dialogue of that person. Why can't they solve their issue? Another example is, okay, you say, I'm going to lose 10 kilo. Yeah, I'm going to go on a diet and I'm going to do exercise and whatever. But if your negative subconscious is, yeah, well, I will never be able to lose those 10 kgs, or I have heavy bones, like some people would say, that is hindering you from actually getting there. So Colournostics then looks at, okay, what is the issue? What is blocking you from solving it? But then we clear it and say, okay, how would it feel if everything would have been solved? You don't know how, you don't know when, but it would be solved. So then there are 3 other questions we ask, and that will give the client, but also the coach, a different perspective of where they are at the moment, and you're shifting it to a complete different perspective, and that will give different emotions and also different behavior. and that will result in different experiences.
So while you are listening to somebody, or you're looking at somebody that is telling their issues, maybe not even in detail, because you told me you're not a psychologist, so you don't want to know the detail of what happened to this person, but you are able to assign them a color that they need to work with, because that color probably is going to maybe, empower them in solving certain issues or bring them into a certain direction. And you tell them to surround themselves by that color, right? To wear the color, maybe in accessories, or maybe like I am right now in a sweater, or just generally just to slowly start using this color more, the color that you have given them to work with. And then what happens normally? Do people then maybe come back to you, and do you see real change in their lives, or do they feel really stuff has changed?
We are working with two different concepts here. So one is Colournostics is about one issue. You have a worry. Color comfort goes what are the colors you are wearing on a regular basis, which colors you're missing. And with both concepts, I will never tell someone what to do. I will allow the client to choose him or herself, because everyone knows exactly what is best for them. And your subconscious will choose those colors, or I will just point out, these are the colors there are not existing in your wardrobe at the moment that is indicating so and so and so, or some issues that you still have not resolved in the past. It is up to you. Which one do you want to integrate into your life? The only thing that I'm doing is giving you the information behind those colors, what that can do for you. Yeah. So it's not that I am telling anyone, because I can't. I'm only interpreting what their color choices are saying and what they want to achieve, and I interpret that into a color for them. Because otherwise, if people don't understand why they're not wearing the color, they have a dislike, or why they are keeping running against the same hurdle as a blockage. If the client themselves don't understand it, there will be no change.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's very true what you just said. Yeah. So you've developed the tool that you're just talking about. So the coloristic tools already quite a few years back. I mean, you've been working with them for a long time together with your business partner, Mary. And in the early conversation that we had in one of our sessions, you said that only you feel that now people are ready, or the world is ready to go in a deeper healing, maybe indeed using color. Can you explain what your thought is behind that? Why is it easier now than it was a couple of years ago?
Okay. Yeah, well, with Color Comfort, I started about 20 years ago. And indeed, I would teach people in a classroom setting. And sometimes people would just look at me like I was from another planet. Because no one, just think about 20 years ago, no one was not really talking about color as a therapy or something that could do more than being just aesthetic, or, it's now in the last 10 years, we're reading articles about the importance of color even in hospitals, how they decorate different hospitals, because the colors will help them heal different issues. Or the Steiner schools, they still work with color in classrooms. So now people are getting more information in mainstream about what color and also sound can actually do for us.
And it is indeed, I feel that generally, personally, at least in the last couple of years, people are opening up more to everything that is not rational. So not something that is scientifically proven, maybe, but they're opening up to what maybe is more what we would call spiritual. whether you can call psychology spiritual, but I think definitely color therapy falls more under the umbrella of something that not always can be understood, but you can see it's working.
Yeah, and that is fascinating that at the moment I'm aware that there's more and more research being done with color lights or color therapy, or what all the impact it has on our beings on all levels. And that is the fascinating thing, that when we talk about color, because it's a vibration, it will affect us on all levels, not only physically, but also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that is why it's so profound, because it will take everything in one go. Like, for instance, you have now integrated one or two more colors into your life. Yeah. And by wearing it, it's actually you giving not only a different message towards yourself, because you understand why you are wearing that color. That knowledge, that is the power, not because it's a nice color, but why, what it can do. And then if you are going out and people seeing you literally in a different daylight, because they're seeing you in a different color, what happens, you already have changed on a subconscious level, but other people who will see you will also start to treat you differently. Yeah, and for that reason, you can say that after a course or after a training, people, their entire lives will change. I have never, ever had someone come to me and said, no, this didn't do anything for me. Every single person who I've seen and come to the training, they said, my whole life has changed, because all of a sudden I understand myself far better, but also I'm more in control of my emotions and my thoughts, but also people are treating me quite differently. Just imagine someone who is only wearing blue and black and gray and white maybe, and all of a sudden starts integrating yellow and magenta and purple, or it just gives a complete different message.
I agree. So yes, we did a session a couple of weeks ago in which, while we were talking, you just asked me questions. I remember, like, what do you wear on a regular basis? And, what did you wear when you were maybe little? And what did you wear maybe 10 years ago? And while we were talking about this, we were talking about how I wore certain colors in certain parts of my life, and then injected others. And then sometimes I, again, neglected colors. I was amazed also on how accurate that was, but also the meaning. So when I, for example, told you that I didn't wear a certain color, you said, well, when was that? What year? And then when you asked me that, it made me think of, that's true, because in that year, this and this and this happened. So it made me conscious about how that was related to wearing a certain color. And doing these sessions, we clicked, and I don't think that's just because we're both Dutch. We clicked, I think, of energy levels, but also it is quite intimate to talk to people on this level, right? And it is intimate to be able to heal people. Is this something that you think is a mission? Is this really part of why you are here on this Mother Earth in healing others and helping others?
Yeah, I do think that is one of my main missions, to help other people to help other people, because both of the systems are there to help people in a very non-invasive way to actually understand themselves. Because what you said about your history, we all go through life and all of a sudden things happen. And in a subconscious level, we start or we stop integrating certain colors, and especially in our clothing, because they are on a daily basis, we can shift colors. We can't redecorate our entire house every day because we feel differently, but we do have a tendency to all of a sudden say, okay, I don't want to wear that color at the moment. So when you understand that we all go through life, and then when you see that, oh yes, 10 years ago, I stopped wearing that. 5 years ago, I started wearing that color. 2 years ago, all of a sudden, I was attracted to another color. What you see that all the events that has happened in your life will have shaped you to become the person you are today. Yeah. But all the negative emotional aspects, when you stop wearing a color, there's always something happen that has affected you on a negative way. And as soon as you can understand and see, oh yeah, that happened that so many years ago, and I'm going to integrate that color back into my life, you are actually doing color therapy on yourself on all levels, on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, and on a mental level, because you are then understand, yes, I need, it happened, but I have to make peace with it. That's why my other company is called Color Comfort. Mm-hmm. You have to become comfortable with all colors, because every color will relate in different aspects of something that is in your personality or something that has happened. It's only the information behind that can actually give you the healing power to say, okay, yes, I am going to embrace this color. Because when you start wearing a color, and especially as a top or a blouse, very close to the heart, you're allowing a color to come very close to you.
Yeah. And to heal you. Yeah.
And to heal you, yeah.
Yeah. So during the session, we saw at a certain point that to move forward in my next step and where I am right now in my life, I had to integrate more yellow. Now, I have yellow in my house. I have a huge yellow sofa. But then when we discussed it, that was not enough. You said that I needed more yellow in my life to explore my full potential, because I was getting close, but I wasn't quite there. And I'm very much a dreamer. I'm very stuck in my head. Most people that know me know that. And it was a color that can put ideas into reality. So can you explain a little bit what really that power of yellow is and how it can push you in, let's say, the right direction?
Okay. Yellow is also one of the least worn colors. Mm-hmm. And it is because it's the color of your solar plexus. And that means, who are you? What's your identity? Who are you truly? And I think that a lot of people don't know who they are, why they're here, what is their purpose. And I always explain it in a way like if you go and visit a foreign country and you're going to visit a big city. So you get there, but you don't have a map, you don't have an iPhone, nothing. So you don't know where you are and you don't know where you want to go. So then that experience can be quite challenging, because you could be rounding up in circles. You could end up in an area what is not good for you, or you could meet the wrong people, or you're just missing the nice new things you want to see or visit. The difference is, if you go back again to that same city, but you have your GPS, you have a roadmap, you say, okay, yes, I am here now in Central Station, but I want to see this building, I want to visit that restaurant, I want to go there. Yep, I could see on the map, this is the route I have to take. What a different experience.
Yeah.
The one without the map, it's only the map. It has nothing to do with the person. The person can still, be the same person. The difference is the map. And that made that person, the second one with the map, far more in control, far more focused, because they knew, okay, yes, I want to visit that restaurant, I want to go there. And that is yellow for you. And it stands out. It's like a light shine, because if you wear yellow, you will get the attention. If you have a marker, a highlighter, why is it yellow? because it needs your attention. And a lot of people don't like that attention because they don't feel secure enough. And that is also the reason so many people hide into black. And I'm not saying black is a good or bad color. There are no good and bad colors. But if I overdose and I just hide into black, what I call the do not disturb color, I am not visible anymore. You know, I'm in my little cave hiding. I have a story about black. Maybe I told you. The lady in class, she came after class, she came to me. She said, I have a problem. My son is 18. He only wears black. He's painted half his room black, and he's not getting out of his room. She said, what can I do? I said, well, ask him if he is okay for you to get some different t-shirts. Luckily, he said yes. So they went shopping. They just got 2 or 3 different colored t-shirts. 3 months later, this woman, this mother, emailed me. She said, Thelma, you won't believe it, but I got my son back. He got out of this black hole. It's like a black cave. And most teenagers will go through that process because they don't want the interference of the parents and the teachers. They want to do it all themselves. They don't want to stand out. They want to be shown like they're very strong.
Yeah.
You know?
They want to be invisible, right? And that's what black does. It makes you invisible. I mean, it's a color that a lot of women wear for multiple reasons, but it is indeed. So we indeed discussed that I was overdosing in black. So I'm trying to quit black a little bit more. And then indeed, we also talked about red, but then in particular, not just red, we talked about fuchsia. And that was to overcome some delusions that when we were talking that I had in the past, but even back in my childhood, because it was one of those colors that I stopped wearing when I was very young. And I think I connected it to the death of my uncle, to whom I was very close. So it's a trauma, clearly. And that for me was enough to discard a color in my life. So a moment in which you said, indeed, I remember your life lost its innocence. So fuchsia, so I'm trying the fuchsia as well. I'm doing the yellow thing. I'm doing the fuchsia thing. And it's interesting indeed. I remember the first evening I was wearing fuchsia, the reactions that I got generally. I think I also posted an image on Instagram, and the comments were just, very positive and very empowering as well. So how do you think that fuchsia can have an influence to overcome, let's say, delusions or maybe situations that make you sad?
Yeah. Well, again, every color will do its thing, but it's not like this color stands for that and that color stands for that. No, I just look at the whole picture, because some people will have different combinations of color. But okay, that's to the side. But if you look at the fuchsia color, it's a very exciting color. It's between, it's a combination of the red and the purple. So everything is there. And a lot of people, when they're young, they love it. They're excited for life, and they just are bubbly. And then something happens, and it could be anything. It could be the passing of your uncle, but all of a sudden the excitement is gone. The innocence is gone. It is a very, childlike, positive color. And so yes, and then we just don't even want to go close, because it has hurt us too much. We have been hurt, and indeed to understand, to very gently come back to that color and let that color actually heal the hurt. Because what you said, and I hear that over and over and over again, the people who are actually starting to introduce the 2 colors that we discussed at a session, every one of them, they always say that people come back and they say, oh, you look radiant. Oh, this looks good on you. Why? Because finally you are putting back a piece of your potential, and you're showing it and you're radiating it.
Yeah.
And it's not that you have to look like a clown every day, but just be comfortable with every color, because every color will reflect a different aspect of your personality. And I want that aspect to come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is why people react as they react, because finally they're seeing the person who you truly are.
That's just amazing. It's just when I'm listening to you right now, it fits all to everything. It fits to how I'm feeling, but I'm sure that a lot of people that are listening, they're fully understanding. And I think you're going to be overwhelmed with work. But it's at a certain point, we also talked about a very funny comment and a surprising comment that you made about red. That, for example, it's a color that stands for certainty, to feel sure, a person but then you said that some people only wear it at night, because then they know they're wearing the red color and they can feel that color working, its thing, but they're not ready to wear it outside the house or the bedroom. How important is that you really wear those colors? But does it matter that you maybe in the beginning only just wear them in your own comfort? Or is it important you also do so exteriorly, so going out with red, for example? I mean, for some people, they're not, I remember after our session, I went into the city and I bought the colors that you told me to buy, and I immediately went indeed for colors close to my heart. But I can imagine that some people, they do it carefully. They're not directly throwing themselves into the game, right?
Yeah, and that is okay. I will only tell you the colors, that what it can do for you. And if you decide, yes, I'm going to integrate them, fine, it's your journey. And indeed, with some colors, it can be so overwhelming that you could just maybe start just with a little bracelet or just underwear. And indeed, again, understand why some colors you are not able yet to show to the world. And that is why, it's still a little bit for yourself. It's the same like when you first started learning a different craft. You won't go out and show the whole world what you're doing. No, you're first going to practice and do it just for yourself. And that is the same with color. And you have to become comfortable with that color and allow that color to comfort you. Mm-hmm. And then when you are strong enough, then you can, start wearing something that other people can see, because in your subconscious, that people will start to react differently, especially because red is a color like, okay, yes, I can make things happen. I'm strong, I'm happy, I'm motivated, I'm driven. I always call it the go-getter color, that there's the manufacturing color. It's people who wear that a lot, they can make anything happen because they have that power, that strength. Just take it slowly. They will do it step by step. If you're not ready to show the world, if you look at the language, it's, can you show the world who you are?
Yeah.
And if you're not ready yet, take steps. I've seen people who were physically ill just by looking at the color, because it can bring up a lot of emotions that are hidden and that are still under the surface. So for me, the most important thing is be gentle, play with color. Just be gentle, be non-judgmental. No one is judging you, but just use it. Use it as, it's the same like you use maybe music to uplift, your feelings. If you're a little bit down, maybe you're gonna dance around with salsa music.
Yeah, exactly. Take it slow. So we've talked about, let's say, colors that can be quite bright, yellow, red, fuchsia. But how about colors that are maybe more what we, at least as color experts, that we would call them neutrals, like gray and brown? Still, in your color therapy, they are important colors. What do they represent in therapy?
More the structure. With brown, it's more the practical life. Family is very important. Structured lifestyle, traditions. Gray, again, is non-emotional. It's also a high quality, also very structured, because it's the opposite of turquoise. Turquoise is the playful, the idealistic. Gray is it's very structured. It's very well thought of. No emotion. Yeah. So there, as I always say, there's no good color. There's no bad color. Every color has its meaning, but it's very simple. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, when we did the session, indeed, it was very. I mean, it was simple indeed. You asked me questions, and out came results about color and me, connecting things. Then one thing, as you know, I do trend colors, and a lot of people that are listening, they also do trend colors. How does relate what you're doing to fashion colors? Because one thing is knowing what color you need to heal certain things of your past, and another thing is going into a shop where maybe for summer everything is green, or maybe for this winter everything is going to be orange. How is that, even if your personal opinion, how do you see that, and how does that influence what you do and maybe complicates sometimes what you're doing?
Okay. Have you ever had a year that a color came out and like you said, nah, not for me?
Yellow normally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that is what happens, like sometimes you will go out there and say, oh, there's all the colors I like. That's coming this winter or this summer. Yeah. And then another season, no, nothing. Unless you just go only what fashion is determining what you should or shouldn't wear. But I think the older you get, the more everyone gets their own personal color choices. Yeah. So if you're true to yourself and you just don't want to just follow whatever the fashion is, you will have times where you think, nah, can't find anything. So not for me this year, maybe next year.
Yeah. And that's, again, your subconscious talking to you. Like, this is not it. This is not in my moment, in this time. I'm not doing this color. Yeah.
Well, okay. How often have you went shopping with a friend and that friend says, oh, you have to buy that. Okay, you buy it. It's still hanging there with the label. Yeah. Because someone else wanted you to buy that, not you.
Exactly.
This is all about really listening to yourself, your own intuition, because it has all the answers.
Yeah.
That's why I'm only interpreting. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
Your color choices. What are your color choices saying? What do you want out of life? What are the colors that could help you? Yeah. That's all I'm doing.
But you've helped numbers of people over the last many, many years. Are there any, without obviously revealing personal details, are there some situations that really kept with you, that stayed with you? Maybe people who really did a 180 degree of change?
Yeah, there are two things. They were both issues with their mother. One lady already passed, but the other lady is still here. And I did a session with both of them on different occasions, and both snapped out of it after years and years and years of looking at, coaches and therapists and whatever to sort this out. They finally got it, how they could help themselves to actually protect themselves, this very unhealthy relationship that they both had with their mother.
Yeah.
And that's I was amazed, because one of my friends, she phoned me later. She said, I've been struggling this for more than 50 years and I've snapped out of it.
Yeah. One session with you talking about the right color for that person. And
because as I said, it's about finding what is actually triggering you. Mm-hmm. It's your subconscious, and we all have our own a way of talking to ourselves. And if you don't get it, the most influential person you talk to each day is yourself. Yeah. So but if you understand where it's coming from, then you can be more proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah. That's it, right? It's taking the action yourself, not having it taken by others, but you are acting, not reacting. And that comes back to so many other topics that we very often talked about in our private sessions. And you also teach other professionals around the world, because on the website you can clearly see with whom you can talk, no matter where they are, to become indeed a color practitioner. What does such a study involve, and what are like skill sets that maybe your students need to have? And I can imagine that intuition and empathy are important ones, but can just anybody follow your study?
Yeah. Again, there are two concepts. Both. The color comfort is more learning about the whole language of color, about what it means when someone never has worn a color or overdose or stopped or started, whatever. That's one aspect. They could do that online just for themselves. If you really want to do consultation with other people, you will have to do a personal one-on-one session with me to teach you how to read these grids. The other one is Colournostics. It's really about identifying one issue someone has and taking them through a process to really give them a different perspective. And that consultation can be done every single day, because we always will have something, to worry about or to change. And that doesn't need a lot of studying. What we've done, we've put it into a fundamental course, very easy to just show you how to take someone through this process. Everything is in the book. It's in a toolkit. So there's a book, there's a board, there are color cards, and there's a notepad. You don't have to do anything. You're just guiding your client through this process to, okay, you're here, you're stuck here. Now we're going to give you a different option, different perspective. So actually, no, people do not need to have any qualifications, any major knowledge about color. I think maybe it's even better to know less about color, because I just take color very, very simple without our own rational thinking. That's why I say stick to the color. Yeah, that will give you the information, not our intuition. The only thing that I ask people who are trained for this, I ask them, be empathic, because we all are going through the same journey, well, a similar journey, but we all have our ups and downs. We all have our different color choices. Just be empathic. Never judge anyone, because we all live in the same boat. And it's just a very gentle way to really allow people to shine, to shine their true potential, and be colorful, have a life. Just enjoy, go out in nature and see all the colors. It makes you happy. So.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah. Get your full colorful wardrobe in and just, live. But I think especially what you said, the non-judgment, I think that generally is the bigger lesson in life, right? To not judge and never judge anybody in life, or however they're feeling, or however what they're wearing, or
no.
What is the bigger picture? Because we're almost out of time, indeed. What is the bigger picture with what you are truly doing? So what is the future of these color therapies, and where do you see that this is going?
I see these color therapies more as a self-help systems. I don't like personally to be dependent on anyone, and I don't want other people to be dependent on me. I've had people come to me and they were very proudly they told me that they have been in therapy for I don't know how many years. If you need to come to me for 4 or 5 years, I have a feeling I'm not doing a very good job. But that's my own personal feeling. And I have given people all the tools. I've put everything. It's in the manuals. It's in the toolkit. Everything I've done. It's all there for people to actually start to get insight within themselves, within their own family, or within their clients, and also give at the same time a solution. Because it's very good to talk about all your problems. I don't want to talk about your problems. I want to talk about how you can get out of the problems and how can you get a solution and how can you live a more fuller life that really,
It's a very new way of healing, and I'm sure that this is indeed the future, especially for those people who don't want to talk about what happened in the past. They just want to move forward, and they just want to be given the tools on how to move forward in, let's say, in the end, a rather easy way, inserting color in your life.
Yeah, I'm talking about the research that's done. They say it's so extensive. We are just at the beginning of understanding what color, light, and sound actually is and how it's affecting us. But because we are working with energy, that is why we would say, just put on a yellow top, or just wear red socks, or just do that. It has an effect on all levels, but we know it has, but we don't even understand exactly how it works.
Yeah, and that's what I keep telling, and that's also why I have the podcast about color. This never will you completely understand everything about this topic, and that's why it's so intriguing, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm also so thankful for having you on the podcast. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. I hope we can talk again soon and see what are the next colors to insert.
Yes. Always welcome. I'm always here for you to, I will always love to help you move forward.
So this was Judith Van Vliet from the Color Authority. Thank you for listening again to yet another episode. If you haven't done so, please go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, review, and send us feedback on this episode. And I hope that you will be listening to the next episode coming out very, very soon. Thank you and have an amazing, colorful day.